What's good, YouTube? Cardfight King here. AQUA Life Baby. You already know how it is. Just wanted to bring you guys my DMV Dynasty Cup that we had in Pennsylvania tournament report. It's a bit late for it, but I did have my winter semester final to take care of, so I spent the other days really studying, cranking that out so that I could, do well in the final, pass the class, because I'm graduating this spring semester. Pray to God. So we did have our first Dynasty Cup out in Pennsylvania. I call it Philly, but Pennsylvania, whatever it is. And really good crowd out there. I mean, I've always respected the Philly crowd. Ever since I first played them a few years ago, just really strong players out there in Pennsylvania and Philly. Really good community players, good peoples. Yeah, so Alternate Universes hosted the tournament. Really good store. Really enjoyed the the way that the venue was ran. The employees there were very helpful, courteous. Just overall good vibes, good environment to run and host a tournament in. Really made the experience well, just having a good venue that's run really well. Now, obviously, our Dynasty Cup crew did a great job as well, so shout outs to them. Well, me too, but whatever. I played this one, didn't judge. So, for the tournament report, I played Thavas. I had a pretty good day. Played Thavas again. Same build as the deck profile that you guys recently saw, the most recent Thavas deck profile. Same deck, no changes at all. I will be making some changes, but no changes at all currently. So starting out round one, played against Overlord. I know some people have asked me about the Thavas. Damn it, Thavas and Overlord matchup. How is that? Basically, you would think yes, because Overlord has resist, it can target columns, so it can get around. It can get around resist, target the circles and pop them. It does have some other forms of control that it could have the matchup. And don't get me wrong, Overlord can definitely dominate the matchup in a way. The Purge is just a disgusting stride card. I think that Kagero definitely has a very, very strong stride deck, as evidenced by why it's Overlord's risen in popularity, and that's good for the game. To me personally, good for the game in a way. But everything, and I said this before a lot of times in the matchup, Thavas just has a lot of burst, and both games more or less went the same way. Just being able to give Supreme Ruler, giving my rear guards resist, or back attack, but really that resist skill really negates Denial Griffin. And even if some of our circle gets retired, we could draw a lot and burst them down by turn after turn. Was Sipla. Sipla's was the MVP of that matchup. Melania is fantastic, giving resist to a Tile Assault. And then again, like I said, Alexandros, and you're gonna hear this a lot. Alexandros definitely will carry you through the game. So both games pretty much end up the same way. I believe in game 2 he was stuck for a little bit, and personally, I don't care if I ride to 3 first or not. I rode to 3 and I just put on some pressure, got him around the damage area that I like to get him around, and was able to finish him off. Then round 2, played against Narukami Vanquisher, against my boy Armani. I won that one 2-0. Basically, game 1, again, even, I was just able to outburst him, even if my bind zone was big as hell. Again, I was just able to burst him down with Alexandros and whatnot. My last turn that I beat him on, I had a 49k Tile Assault and a 59k Tile Assault. One of the Tile Assaults had 2 triggers on it, but yeah, I was, my last turn, I kind of over G-guarded so that I could, go into my next turn, more or less securing the win with at least 2 49k Tile Assaults with double attack, so 49, 44. So yeah, that was really powerful. And then game 2, he went into drachma. He did drachma me, but then I did ride a 3 during the drachma turn. So and then I just ate some damage, blocked what I needed to block, survived the turn, and was able to go into Alexandros and secure the match. All right. So then round 3, I played in a mirror match against another sub, Kenny, sub out there in PA. We mirror matched Thavas. It went down to the wire. Went down to game 3. Game one, he was hitting crit every turn. He had the G guards healed, but I don't think he was drawing into like his Siplas or titles or Adelaides really for pressure. So he did have a lot of triggers and defense in the game, but he couldn't get enough offense to. He couldn't get enough offense to sustain himself. And I think he also had the struggle stride at one point. Game 2, I got Raffle stomped on. I did have to G assist, but I probably could have made a better decision in choosing what I got rid of for G assist. And but overall, just having a G assist and just be behind the 8 ball like that. I was at high damage. It was just ugly. Then game 3 just came down to the wire. But I was just able to go into Alexandros. I had a 31k Adelaide double strike. I played Dragon Ball Super, so I say double strike for 2 attacks. But 31k Adelaide, 31k Supreme World Thavas, both of them with double attack or dual strike. I call them dual strike, whatever. And a Melania that was swinging from the back row. So, even if I didn't hit any triggers, I still had 4 31k attacks and a 12k attack that my opponent had to deal with at 5 damage. So pretty good. So I was able to win that one. Then round 4, played against another one of my cool boys up in PA. Was using Gear Chronicles. That match kind of triggered me in a sense, but I lost that 1-2. First loss of the day. Basically, game one, kind of just went in his favor. He was able to, just draw a lot of cards, add a lot of cards to hand from the Gear Chronicle stuff. It seemed like he G-guarded me at every turn. I just really had a hard time putting enough pressure on him because, he had the PGs, recycled Arca. He had multiple heal triggers in hand. He would search out the heal triggers off of that one Chrono Grade 2 card, whatever. I don't know his name, but one of those ZTB cards that searches the ZTB and adds to your hand. So, yeah, definitely had all the defense that game. Really couldn't pressure. And then lost to Gear next. Game two, he got really unlucky with his header around plays. I was calling cards like Adelaide and Saberflow off the top with it. Really got lucky with that. But again, I finally found a way to just, I just pressured him. I kind of just went in, pressured him pretty hard. I was able to force a lot of damage, and then I went into Wailing Thavas. He's at 5 damage. He did have like 6 or 7 cards in hand, but his last drive check, he didn't check a single, a single heal trigger he didn't check a heal trigger because he already had 3 face-up G Guardians, but he didn't check a heal trigger. He didn't check any zeros. So I went to Wailing Thavas, and I'm like, well, at least I know 3 of your cards are not zeros. So you're gonna have to, and you're at 5. So you're gonna have to, accept these pokes and then deal with a pretty high-powered Wailing Thavas. Then game 3 just came down to basically, he hit 3 crits on a Gear next turn, and he had a goat on the field. And I think I misguarded during that turn. I could have just taken one attack, blocked another attack, and then I probably would have had enough shield to do that with. And I think it was just a simple misguard here and there that probably cost me. That's what I really believe, because I just sat there after the match. I was thinking like, damn. If I had just taken that and that, I was just running through different scenarios of how I probably should have guarded it. But it is what it is. Lost that one. Then went into round 5, final round, played against Dark Irregulars. It was a Shaharlit Sullivan build. Since I play against Black Steve quite often, with his Dark Irregular deck, I basically knew what I wanted to do in that matchup, and I saw my heal triggers, pre-mulligan. I kept one of them, and basically got my ride targets, kept the heal trigger because I was going first both games. And like I said, I don't really care if I go first, second. It doesn't really matter to me. But against in that matchup, I don't want to play the long game with Dark Irregulars. I don't want to get hit with a Blader Mouse or a Gilded Rays at 4. Not trying to deal with all of that. So G-Guarded went into first turn Lambros. And that's what I really did throughout the day, which really helped with the burst, is just going to that first turn Lambros. You G-Guard, then going to first turn Lambros. Just put on immense pressure on him. Literally, both games went the same. He wasn't able to get the amount of soul that he wanted. I did, game 1, I did ride regular, one who surpasses the storm. Thavas was able to pop certain cards on his board so that, he couldn't, shove like an extra assassin in the soul or whatnot. But yeah, definitely was in control of that matchup both games. He didn't get the soul that he wanted to get, especially didn't get the soul he wanted to get in time, in enough time before he had to start blocking plus 20k rear guards on the Alexandra's turn and whatnot. So yeah, I was able to win that one 2-0. Basically, games went the same way. Got in the top 8. Played against teammate Ajol. He was playing his Ripple Thavas deck. He ended up winning the entire event, so obviously he beat me in top 8 2-0. I just, both games really went the same. I couldn't see any defense. I didn't see a perfect guard until, game 2, my very last turn, when that was what I top decked off the top. I didn't see my G guards. I really just saw like my stride enablers and a bunch of grade 3s and whatnot, but I just could not see any of my triggers, my draws, my crits, nothing. I really just couldn't see any defense. So I couldn't, even if his field wasn't that great and I was trying to play around it and counter rush him, I could have, just threw out cards a little bit more aggressively in a sense, and changed up how I actually managed what was in my hand and whatnot. But it was at a point where it's like I can't really guard all of this, and I was trying to take damage, hoping to get like a trigger on damage something, and I was still hitting my rear guards and stuff. It was like my triggers were just all within, all my 16 triggers were all like within like the last 20-25 cards of my deck, and I just didn't have enough time just to reach them, and so I lost in that one. Both games basically just the same. Too much early pressure from the Ripple, and not even just the Ripple engine, but threw his hand down. He did have some of the Ripple stuff, but just threw his hand down, got some pressure off, didn't damage any triggers to help with defense, didn't really draw into any triggers to help with block or anything like that. And yeah, it is what it is with that one. So finished top 8, topped another event with Thavas. Really happy about that. We have 46 players at the tournament as well, so really good turnout for that. But yeah, it is what it is. I will be making changes to that to my deck, more specifically in a sense. I think I think I want to definitely put Sipla to 4 copies. She was definitely like one of the biggest MVPs of the day, and it's not for her draw ability, it's simply for her permanent 11k and resist when I have a Thavas Vanguard. You're always going to have a Thavas Vanguard. Her just her sitting there at 11k, she's not a target that you can just sit there and poke without a boot. Your opponent can't throw a 9k or a 10k at her unboosted to poke her with excuse me. They have to send a boosted column at her. It really depends on what you have. She has resist, so she can't really get controlled. Very versatile in the back row or front rows when you're on Supreme Ruler. Just a fantastic, outstanding card, and I think that she deserves to be tested out at 4 in my build. Saberflow was decent in the deck, but I think that there were certain plays with Saberflow that kind of conflicted with running, and Mitros was also really strong on the day too. But there were times when Saberflow did kind of conflict with my overall plan of attack and whatnot, and there were times where I was like, well, man, if this was a Sipla instead of her, then this turn would go a little bit more, smooth than it would have with her. And, I would have to make some ugly plays and ugly change-ups just to accommodate it, in a sense. But, again, I'm going to probably break the deck down a bit, reduce like a Melania, reduce a little Melania, take out a Saberflow or two, maybe both, up the count of Sipla. I'm gonna take out Dinos. Dinos didn't really do anything. I didn't see Dinos unless I rode him. Otherwise, I didn't really see him. But I'm gonna throw in. I'm probably gonna look from one of my Ortheas and try that card out. Even though I think that's more of like a jobber, win harder type of card in a way. I didn't miss her any. But I'm going to be doing some different deck building, some different theory crafting, whatnot. We do have another Dynasty Cup coming up pretty soon. It's the 2v2 tournament. Don't know if I'm going to play in that one, but I will be playing. I do want to play in the ARG states, though. So hopefully, maybe if I can get my Chaos deck done by then, I can probably play Chaos for that event. If not, I'll probably just roll with Thavas again. So we'll see. But that's it for me, guys. That's my tournament report for the Dynasty Cup. Got top 8 with Thavas. Really happy about that. And I'll see you guys next video. This is Cardfight King, AQUA Life Baby, and we out.